Tariffs are not the reason for the current agricultural economic downturn, nor are tariffs the sole reason that farms are facing financial shortfalls right now in America in October of 2025. I realize this runs counter to everything you've heard from just about every media outlet who during the last 2 weeks has dispatched their, quote, reporters out to farm country like where I am right now to tell you that the tariffs are harming farmers and that's the problem. Well, let's go ahead and back this up a little bit. Tariffs do not help. We are a trade-oriented agricultural economy in the United States of America. We do need markets. And I hear the farmers saying we need trade, not aid, when they talk about financial bailouts. The problem is there's not going to be as much trade because the world is completely glutted, oversupplied on things like soybeans, which were produced in that field right over my shoulder and harvested just a week or so ago. You see, China can be very, very choosy about where they buy their soybeans. They can put a 20% tariff on American soybeans right now because there's no shortage of soybeans. If the hogs were not being fed and the Chinese people were rioting in the streets out of hunger, trust me, China would buy our soybeans. But as it were, the global supply is in complete surplus. Brazil has ramped up production. They're making 57% more soybeans on 42% more acres than they did just 10 years ago in Brazil. In other words, the world has more than enough soybeans. So, of course, China can use the 20% tariff on American soybeans for political pressure. But trust me, that is not why we are struggling here in the Farm Belt economically. Input costs, fertilizer, seed, chemicals, all the things you do to produce a crop like those soybeans right there are up more than 40% over the last several years. You can blame that on the inflation that came about during the COVID time and overprinting of money. Either way, it's not about tariffs that are causing this financial struggle right now. Again, tariffs do not help. They are a distortion to the economic principles that make a marketplace. But we have had tariffs in place for a long, long time. We used them here in the United States of America in the 1790s when we were a brand new country to protect our fledgling economy. Here's the other thing you want to understand about tariffs. Supply and demand will actually create the marketplace and the price. Tariffs add to that. But again, a country that is starving will not put tariffs in place. That's what you must understand about China. This is a political situation. I get it. I know I'm going to get all sorts of comments from you people claiming that I'm defending some political policy or that I'm a Trumper. None of those things are true. This is an economic situation, an agricultural economic situation. Will it turn around? What's going to change prices is going to be an increase in demand or a decrease in supply. That's what sets the commodity prices globally, and that's what we're dealing with right now. We have more than enough commodities, and demand is really, really good, but we keep out producing our demand. Damian Mason, I speak on stage and right here online about the world's most important industry, the business of agriculture. Thank you for tuning in.